Laia lived a life of struggle, piecing together an existence from small jobs, yet her heart was always full of kindness. Her world was simple, quiet, and predictable till one fateful night. A faint cry, like a chorus of tiny kittens, pulled her from her sleep. Following the sound, she found an impossible sight. 3 newborn babies, bundled together near her doorstep. They were wrapped in blankets so soft they felt like clouds, and a strange ornate pendant lay tucked beside them. In that moment, Laia's quiet life was shattered. Despite her own poverty, she couldn't just leave them. She took the triplets in, a decision that brought whispers and criticism from her neighbors. How can she afford to feed herself, let alone 3 babies? They'd mutter. But Laia ignored them. She named them Leo, Liam and Luna, and they became her entire world. She worked twice as hard, her hands raw and her body aching, but seeing their 3 little faces made every sacrifice worthwhile. A routine checkup at the local clinic brought the first hint of a larger story. The doctor, a kind elderly man, looked at the babies, then back at Laia, a puzzled expression on his face. He remarked on their strikingly unique eyes, a shade of deep violet he had only ever seen in pictures of one family, the ridiculously wealthy Rhino family. Laia brushed it off as a coincidence, but the seed of curiosity was planted. A few days later, while cleaning the expensive blankets they were found in, she noticed a small embroidered crest, the very same crest of the Rhino family. Her heart began to pound. She remembered the news stories from months ago about the tragic disappearance of billionaire Alexander Rhino's newborn triplets. Could it be? Holding the pendant, Laia's hands trembled. The design was identical to the one described in the news reports as a family heirloom left with the missing children. It was too much to be a coincidence. With a mix of fear and determination, she knew she had to do something. She found the number for the Rhino Foundation, the family's charitable organization, and made the call. She explained her story, her voice shaking, but the person on the other end was cold and dismissive. They accused her of being a cruel opportunist, a scam artist trying to prey on a grieving family's tragedy. Crushed and humiliated, Laia hung up, tears streaming down her face. Was she wrong to have gotten involved? But the story didn't end there. Her call, though dismissed, must have triggered something. A few days later, a sleek black car, the kind Laia had only seen in movies, pulled up to her humble home. A man in a sharp suit stepped out, his face a mask of cold indifference. It was Alexander Rhino himself. He looked at Laia with deep suspicion, his eyes scanning her small, worn-out apartment with disdain. He clearly believed she was part of some elaborate scheme. He demanded to see the children, his voice void of any warmth. But the moment his gaze fell upon the 3 sleeping babies, his mask cracked. He saw their violet eyes, so like his own, and a flicker of something hope, pain, disbelief crossed his face. DNA tests were ordered immediately, a swift and impersonal process. Laia waited in an agony of suspense, her heart torn. She had grown to love these babies as her own, and the thought of losing them was unbearable. The results came back, and they were undeniable. Leo, Liam, and Luna were the long-lost rhino triplets. Alexander's skepticism turned to stone-cold certainty. His children had been found, but this happy reunion was immediately overshadowed by a darker truth. An investigation revealed the unthinkable. The triplets had been kidnapped by a jealous relative, someone inside the family who wanted to eliminate them as heirs and had left them to die. The revelation sent a shockwave through the Rhino Empire, but for Laia, a more personal battle was just beginning. Alexander, now fiercely protective, wanted to take his children home immediately. He saw Laia not as a savior, but as a temporary caretaker whose job was now done. He offered her money, a reward for her troubles, treating it like a business transaction. Laia was heartbroken. These weren't just some babies she found. They were her babies, and the triplets felt the same way. They cried whenever Alexander tried to hold them, reaching their tiny hands out for Laia, their true mother in every way that mattered. The tension between Laia and Alexander grew into a silent war, fought in a luxurious mansion that felt more like a prison. Alexander was determined to build a bond with his children, but they only wanted Laia. He watched, frustrated, as she effortlessly soothed their cries, knew their every coo and whimper, and sang them lullabies that made them drift to sleep. He started to see not a poor girl from the slums, but a woman whose capacity for love was boundless. He saw her wake up at all hours of the night, saw the genuine joy in her eyes when one of the babies smiled, and saw the sacrifices she had made without a second thought. Slowly, his icy demeanor began to thaw. He started asking her questions, not as an employer, but as a curious father. He learned about her life, her struggles, and her dreams. He saw that her love for his children was pure, with no hidden agenda. An unspoken connection began to form between them, built on their shared love for the triplets. He would find excuses to be in the nursery when she was there, watching her and learning. One evening, he found her asleep in a rocking chair, a baby cradled in each arm and another in a bassinet beside her. In that moment, he didn't see a stranger. He saw a mother. With the kidnapper finally arrested and facing justice, the storm began to pass. The house was no longer filled with tension, but with the gurgles and laughter of 3 happy babies. One day, Alexander found Laia packing a small bag. His heart sank. He couldn't imagine his home or his children's lives without her. He stopped her, his voice softer than she had ever heard it. He asked her not to leave. He told her that the triplets needed her and that he needed her too. He didn't offer her a job as a nanny. Instead, he asked her to stay and raise them together as a family. Laia looked at him, then at the triplets playing on the floor, and for the first time she saw a future she never dared to dream of. Together, they were no longer a billionaire and a poor girl, but 2 people bound by 3 little miracles, ready to build a new life, a new family from the ashes of the past. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If you enjoyed this journey of love and destiny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you soon.